What's up? What's up? What's up? It's Paris Hart and Jason Williams coming at you live for another episode of the Love With podcast. Today we have a sick group. I don't mean that they're ill. I mean that they're actually dope artists. Like if you're ill and you're sick and you hear their music, you're gonna get out of bed and headbang till 3 a.m. That's how dope they are. Today we have Alexia, Violet, and Narsai, and together they make
Destroy Boys.
Destroy Boys are here.
So first things first, how did you come up with that name?
How did we come up with a name? Well, I had ditched school in 2015 or 16, and I was just at home and I was hanging out. And Alexia and I had started a little band, but we just didn't know what to call it. And I had this big chalk wall, and I just was mad at a couple of guys at the time, so I wrote Destroy Boys in chalk on my wall, and I was staring at it, and I was like, oh my god, that's our band name. So I called Alexia,
and I was like, yeah, cool, sounds good. Like no we had I was like, well, I mean, it just clicked, that was just like such a good band name, and like it wasn't taken anywhere,
which is crazy.
So it just worked out really nicely.
Yeah, you would expect summer out there. Someone would be like, yo, we should destroy the boys, right? Definitely.
Exactly.
Right? And it rhymes.
No, shout out to those boys who, deserve to be destroyed. They started out on an excellent music journey for you.
Thank you so much.
What was it like going from, okay, like this is what we do for fun, and now this is what we do for our lives? Like, what was that switch like?
I mean, since the beginning, I feel like I don't think that we ever had the intention of like we did it because it was fun, but also we had a goal in mind of like being a band for a long time. So I'd say that it started to become more serious like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's been pretty like that's like career.
The intention has always been there.
Yeah.
It just started to become more real and tangible. Like Alexia was saying, in the last like couple years, we've only been a band for 6 years. So,
but still a long time for a band.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of bands that like, start hating each other and stuff like that. Like
we like each other. Yeah, I know. Yeah. We're super married.
I think you guys also have a very good like mission statement and mission too, to really include diversity and inclusion in all genres, all demographics into your music. Like I hear it in the songs and in the lyrics, and it's very, very vocal about equality and justice. How has carrying that message been for you in the music industry? Because I know that there's definitely some pushback to not only the demographics you want to reach out to, but just the demographics that you are as individuals and who you promote.
I think overall it's been really well received, especially like we just got off a US tour not that long ago, and I was really proud of like our fans for being into like all the political stuff. Like we would have mutual aid groups we had a couple mutual aid groups come to our shows and speak before we played. And I just remember when we played in San Diego, like the people got off after speaking and they were like, oh my God, like I did not expect the crowd to be so into it, because they would say something and they would be like, like the cops like abolish the police, and everyone would be like, whatever. And so I think that we haven't gotten too much. I don't think we've gotten pushback from it necessarily.
I think it's kind of more of an invisible pushback. Not, it's just the regular or the norm to be included if you're like a straight white cis guy band, So I think it's more like an inclusion thing.
Yeah, or
pushback. I think what we're saying.
Yeah, I think most of the pushback honestly comes from like people who are holding me to a really high standard. Like who there have been a couple people that are like, you didn't do this exact thing perfectly. And I'm like, yeah, of course I didn't. I'm on stage in front of 400 people. I honestly half the time like don't know what I'm going to say before I do. Like I'm working on that. But I'd say that some of the pushback that I've noticed has come from people like within the sort of leftist like sphere, trying to like kind of poke holes in it, which really bothers me because it's like, okay, are you asking like the white band, like the white cis dude bands, like about this?
They never are,
no.
by the way.
Yeah, but I don't really care. It's been like an overwhelming amount of support for, you know, like talking about this. I think people appreciate it more than anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And something that me and Jason always try doing is making sure that we just talk to great artists that are genuine. And hearing you guys speak, seeing the music videos, seeing what you post, it's like everything is clearly me. I'm not putting on a front or a charade. And the music is just what we believe. And what really was the moment when you were like, okay, I'm ready for the world to see who I am. I don't care about anything else. This is who I am unapologetically.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. That's really sweet.
That is super nice. When you say that, you mean in relation to like music and like social media presence and all that stuff? I mean, I think we've both always kind of felt that way. That's like really at the core of who Alexia is in particular. You know, they're very much Alexia, you know, it's like everything they do is like very honest.
I'm like not a very good actor.
Yeah.
Very bad at acting. And so it's easier to act like as myself.
They're very authentic. And I've like,
it's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like to think of myself in the same way. So I just feel like it's a waste of time, you know, to get online or like to put out a career as somebody trying to be somebody instead of just who you are. And I think that since we started making music so young, a lot of fans, you know, young fans have the same mindset as we did. So they know that it's real. And as we grow up, we experience that same thing from adults too. Yeah. I'd rather talk about what's really bothering me instead of talking about what I think is bothering the world to try to get a hit song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that our music, you know, like I write, you know, lyrics and stuff to deal with my own problems. Like I don't really think about, you know, okay, what do they want? You know, what do like the you know, general they want from this music that I'm going to make? Generally. We don't like the military industrial complex. But yeah, like, so when you write from such a vulnerable place, I think that comes through. And then, you know, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just easier. And it just, you know, like, I haven't thought about that too much necessarily, because it's like the whole point is that you think about it.
Sorry guys, sorry about that.
All good.
It's okay.
I'll put my phone on. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's such a cool picture. When I see that picture come, it feels like you give me a dirty look.
Sorry. I know it's like angled like this way, right? Yeah.
Like, yeah. The whole like sort of authenticity on social media thing is like very interesting to me too, because like it's a constant sort of negotiation of how much of myself do I even want to put out there. And, you know, it's hard to like gauge what people think of whatever I post. So I'm just not going to think about it instead and just do whatever I feel like doing. Because I can't really control anyone anyways.
Thinking about that stuff is so
yeah, it's like really, it's so weird. I'm like, oh my God, like 1,000 people just saw this dumb picture I posted of myself. Like, and now I just can't like take it back. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Living honestly feels good though. Feels the best.
Yeah.
Just the easiest route.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of, okay, now that I'm being me, people have like opinions that they'll try to vocalize about me, or people, even, you know, you don't get it like visibly. It's just like, wow, like this has real impact on like people's lives and how they view me in society and all the other jazz. Like once you get your digital footprint like on the ground, it's just, you just can't really turn back from it, honestly. And especially with the type of exposure that you all have, number one, Fender. You guys were on Fender for a while. You did the ad for them, you did a video for them. That went crazy. Can you just talk a bit more about that experience?
Oh my God.
It was so cool.
It was so
really
cool.
Awesome.
It was a last minute opportunity. We, were able to take the place of a band that had to drop out due to an injury, who I won't name, but it's a band that we love. And we're super grateful to be filling in the big shoes of that band, but we just got it last minute and came down to LA as soon as we could and got to work with all the Fender people who were all super sweet, nice. The director, Matt, has worked on a lot of amazing videos and was so fun to work with. We were riffing with him like all day. Playing the guitars, it's, again, about the authenticity thing. We actually love that line of guitars. We've been playing them a little bit on our tour, so we don't have to lie about how we like them, which is nice.
And I mean, the P bass is like such a classic. The Fender, like, they're just so.
Have one right here.
I'm looking at it.
Let me grab it. Fender. Telling the truth.
That's pretty.
And it was really cool. Like, Fender is such a cool and like, they try to be inclusive, which I really appreciate. And their guitars are affordable, which is really cool. It was sick. It was honestly so wild. And then going back to social media, it was like overwhelmingly well received.
Yeah.
But then it was also so funny to like see like, oh my God, like leg hair on.
There were so many like,
like misogynist things.
I try to say
it's kind of funny. Like,
it was very funny.
Yeah.
I always try to say that if you're not reaching haters, like if you're not getting hate, that means that you're not exiting the sphere that you're in, so you're not growing. So when we put out that video and Fender put out that video, everything was great, but we got a few comments of dudes that obviously would never have consumed Destroy Boys otherwise that were like, why are these giant whores playing guitar? Their boobs are out. Who gave them? Their legs are out and they have hair on them. That's disgusting. Look at their armpits.
Like, oh, they can't play.
They can't even play.
And it's like really like, wow, what an observation that you made just now.
I was like, wow.
It's like, wow, okay, you said some words. It's just funny.
They were very mad that it was women, and that's okay because we're still doing it and they're not, because they're commenting on Instagram videos. So we don't spend obviously because we're busy.
Unless it's something nice. Like I love commenting on my favorite vocal warm-up guys like videos.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, Jeff, I'm so excited to like see the next one. Yeah. But the Fender thing was so wild. Really cool experience. Yeah. Shouts out Fender.
Hey, shout out Fender. And we always, me and Jason always talk about how funny it is about social media, because the same people that are talking negative about you could really see you outside and say, oh my gosh, it's Destroy Boys. Can I please get a picture with you? And then approach you like so differently. But so to kind of go back, you talked about performing, and I know you guys perform a lot. Is there any like routine you get into before you perform, or anything that you think of doing before you perform?
I do vocal warm-up. I warm up my body too. So I'll kind of like do squats or like walk around to kind of like, you have to get your whole body sort of ready, especially for, what I tend to do on stage. It's like, I need to be ready to go. So I do that. Exactly. Stretch afterwards so that I'm not hurting the next day. But yeah, like vocal warm up, body warm up, like drink water, go to the bathroom a bunch of times.
Pee so many times too.
Yeah. And then we like to do a huddle, like the band. We do a huddle beforehand and someone gives a speech.
Well, it rotates like who is leading the huddle every night, because we take different bass players with us on tour to start friends and stuff. So it'll be me, Alexia, Narse, and then whoever's playing bass will lead it, and we'll do a 1, 2, 3, like a different chant every night.
Yeah.
Like, we did one for Machine Gun Kelly one time.
Yeah.
Our bass player we were with on this last tour.
1, 2, 3, MGK.
Yeah, we were like, the show's for MGK, which it was not.
Yeah.
That's just an example. So it just depends on what we've been talking about that day. We'll do the speech, and it just gets us, it gets us into the thing. We do that like literally right before we play, and that's all. It always just makes us laugh before we play, which I think is really important to get on stage with like a
good attitude.
Yeah, we've always had a lot of fun, but like we've really been like being super goofy and like gnarly and just laughing every moment of the day on tour, which is important because you're so tired. So just being able to laugh at each other.
Yeah, prioritizing fun. A little bit like during the day, sometimes like when I'm in a bad mood, I started doing this on our last tour. I'll go around and like give everyone a high five.
You didn't tell me that.
But like you noticed that, I did that, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, I would wake up and I'd be kind of pissed, or I would like really be like, okay, like I want today to be a good day.
It put me in a good mood every time.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So fun. And I feel like I'm usually the most grumpy. And so I'm like, I see you.
No.
And so like going, but it's like, it's fun, it's silly, and like I get like 5 high fives, everyone gets one too. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So there's a couple rituals.
Mm-hmm.
I actually read a book and it said if you high five yourself every morning, like in the mirror, that you feel better. So I was thinking of taking that.
That sounds real.
That completely makes sense, because I swear every time I did that, I just felt so good. Like the high fives really does something.
I've high-fived myself in the mirror a couple times.
Is that a clap? I guess
no,
so.
in the mirror.
No. I know you do it in the mirror, but I feel like it's like the clap part is very satisfying.
Skin on skin. Skin on skin. Yeah. Co-regulation.
Skin on skin is very therapeutic. From the palm.
Yeah. It looks huge. Sorry.
No problem. So you guys talked about your routine that you do before the shows. By the way, adorable. Like not adorable, like in a belittling sense, but adorable. Like I wish I was there so I can like embracing all the wholesome love kind of thing. Real adorable in that kind of sense.
Thank you.
No
if you
problem.
come to one of our shows, lead the huddle. That'd be super fun.
If you have a show in New York, you have to let us know. Like now, you have to let us know.
Oh yeah.
I do want to be part of this huddle.
In the summer, I think sometime we're coming out there. So,
but so you have a show coming out. Oh, not coming out, but you're performing in the summer. Do you have any memories or any like favorite moments in the show or favorite show overall that you just like? Oh man, I gotta tell somebody about this, or people who know us, they should know about this show.
Favorite show, the Roxy on the tour we just did. It was oversold, so there were like many kids in there. And what's cool about the Roxy in LA is they have curtains in front of the stage, right? So
I love that.
You walk on and no one can see you, but you can hear all the crowd. And then our walk-on music started playing. And it was like, so we were just standing there, and the curtains rise up. And you just see like there's something that happens in clubs that get bigger than like 300-400 where you start losing the ability to kind of see the back. Mm-hmm. So it looks really big. So, and also the Roxy, the stage is a half circle instead of a usual square. So you're like surrounded by people and it's like as far as you can see, and the curtain goes up and everyone was just like, "Wah!" And we were like, oh shit, that was really cool. All the shows on the last tour we did were like very fun. It was, a lot of the shows were sold out, which has never happened to us before. And that was fantastic.
Congratulations.
I have a few shows we're going to announce tomorrow are going to be really good.
Yeah.
We're announcing a tour tomorrow. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I think our time when we played the Roxy the first time, that was like, I was so nervous and I hadn't been that nervous for a show in a long time.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then I remember like walking out and just adopting this attitude of like, I'm a bad bitch, and really trying to feel that. And that was kind of like, I just remember the walking onto the stage so clearly. That was like a very powerful little like turning moment for me. And I think on our last tour, the Philadelphia show was so fun. Like it was so fun.
So much was going wrong.
Yeah, but it was
fun.
fine. Yeah. like it was, the crowd was super interactive. Like they threw wigs on stage. I wore a wig for the last like couple songs.
Which
they were
guitar
just-
broke? Or was it your amp? Something broke on stage, so we started doing like bits of covers. Like we did half a Weezer song, half a Blink-182 song, because something your guitar was messed up.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
like it kept getting unplugged, and I like kind of couldn't hear myself sometimes, but it was whatever.
Mhm.
But that show was really fun because it was just like, also we played at the church, like
First
the
Unitarian,
Unitarian, and it was just like there were hella people there, and they were just going so wild, you know. It was just awesome.
It's
The
like a
energy,
city.
yeah, one of my favorite shows ever. Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta see you perform now. Like the way you just talked about that.
Ah, you do, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But-
throwing a wig.
Hell yeah. We got like a pink one that's here actually, and then we got like a blonde one that our bassist wore, and then Alexia wore the pink.
Yeah, and we look like Princess Bubblegum and
And
Marceline.
Like Alexia and I.
So October, you dropped Open Mouth, Open Heart. What was it like getting in the creative space for that and really like just making that, because that's a beautiful piece of art.
Thank you.
Can
Yeah,
I say something?
yeah.
You are one of the very few interviewers who has gotten the title right. I just wanted to note that, you know, thank you for doing that, because we've had so many interviews. I mean, it's a hard thing to remember, and we're grateful for all those interviews, but it was just I had to note that to you. So that was nice.
Oh, thank you.
Like learn.
Yeah,
Like,
I
and it's
know.
like, oh my gosh, the bar is so low. Sometimes.
Um,
Oh.
that record was a long time coming, because it was the first one we'd released in
3 years.
3 years. We had done a couple singles along the way, but it was our first album on a label ever, on Hopeless Records, which is a great label. We love
Shouts
everyone
out.
there. We worked with Will Yip as our producer, first album with a producer, so that was really cool. We went to Philly to record for a while, and we did a month out there, and just working with Will and the three of us being together, like in an Airbnb and then to the studio every day, and the snow. It was just a really cool environment, and we've never created a body of work like this before, and we're just gonna keep trying to go up from here.
Mhm. Yeah.
Alexia and
really
Will
fun.
had a great connection, and I noticed that the environment and, you know, the connection that Alexia had with the producer just brought a new element of vocals out that were really interesting. Just new dynamics out of
Yeah.
all of us, but especially Alexia.
Yeah. He was very like affirming of my skill, which I really appreciated. Because I just haven't like had that necessarily from a producer. Oh, I guess we have a producer, you know.
Mhm.
But he was just very like validating, I suppose. And like he was like gently like pushing me, you know, which I really liked, you know, to be like, you can like do another one, like do another one, you know. And I was like, oh my god, like more. He's like, yeah. Yeah, it was fun to have like a fourth perspective outside of the band. That was really cool. And he has like such a wide skill set and just comes from a different place musically that really, I think, added a lot to the album. And I mean, I play guitar better now. So this is our first album where I really like wrote guitar.
Yeah,
Like,
and played guitar.
and played guitar. So that was really cool. It was just like a lot of firsts, and I really liked the experience of I liked how much time we took to write it, you know, to record it. Because it's usually been sort of like, you know,
Rushed.
get it done in a couple days. Whereas we had an entire month to do everything, which was so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, the production quality on this project is really nice. Like my
Mhm.
favorite song is All This Love, and I just love the it's a production. Like I can literally sing that song all day. Like it sounded really good the fifth time I heard it, you know? Like it was just
So much.
Can you just talk more about like that song, where that came from? Because I really feel like a lot of like soul was poured out into that one.
Yeah. So All This Love, I wrote it when I like had a crush on this girl and she didn't want to go on a date, and I was just sad about it. And it's kind of like, it's funny how I wrote that song in probably 2018. I think I wrote it in 2018.
Yeah, because I heard it in the airport.
And I'm still like feeling the same way. Low-key. Vulnerable with Destroy Boys, a classic.
Vulnerable with Destroy Boys.
Yeah,
good one.
always. Why not? But that song, yeah. So it was about just sort of reckoning with the like, needing to be nicer to myself. And I think the word self-love like gets thrown around a lot, but that song is sort of the beginning of my journey to like being nicer and more compassionate to myself, and wanting and like recognizing what it is that I deserve, so that's like where that came from.
Yeah, the thing is, I read this the other day, I'm sure it was from a reliable source, but it said that emotions kind of like are timeless. Like you can time travel, but go back to a past or previous version of yourself of how you felt in that song. And I feel like every time that you revisit your emotional past self, you also bring the experience of present you and the ideas of present you. So it's kind of like you heal your past self in the present, but it's like you're always kind of in that conversation. And like the way that you're describing the song, it's like, okay, if I'm over here and I'm pouring out my feelings, I'm all this revelation in that moment, and it's like, okay, this is how I've compartmentalized it, and this is how like I'm growing with it, and just the rewriting of the song, and I don't know, I'm chatting right now. I just really love it, and I think that the emotional quality and emotional like content you put into music also shows.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, and it's funny talking about old songs because like that's a segment of something that I was feeling at a certain time, but a lot of the topics that I write about just affect me still, because I kind of like to write about bigger sort of conceptual themes, I guess. And so there's many songs that I listen to now or like will play, and they just take on different meanings for me like every time we play them. Like Fences is one of those songs that continues to change for me. And before, like, where at first it was sort of a place of powerlessness, and then like writing the song and making the end into something more positive. And then now, like when we perform it live, I do a thing with the crowd where I make them scream and sort of let out things that aren't helping them anymore. And then even like a month ago, maybe I was writing new lyrics to Fences. I was I was writing new lyrics to Fences because sometimes I'm like, man, like I don't want to. I keep saying like, let me think of saying over and over again, like, is this all I've ever known? Or I'm a dog with no bite, and like these kinds of things that are almost like self-deprecating affects me. As the person who them over and over again, it's hard for me to keep singing things that put me down. So I try not to do that anymore. And so Fences is, so yeah, I was kind of going back and rewriting Fences. Like, I don't know if I'll do that live or not, but it was nice to do for myself.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, like the song changes. Like I love changing the song too, like the lyrics to kind of like open and close. Like, the song at the, what is it? I want to scream, cut you up like you did me, into I'm going to forgive you so I can breathe. And, at the end is something that I did very much on purpose to show that sort of like, I'm not taking this shit anymore. Yeah. Like I like to use the structure of the song and the lyrics and stuff to show some sort of growth, ideally. Yeah,
like that parallelism. Like, okay, this is the structure that you're used to in the beginning of the song. I'm gonna give you the same structure, but now the content is different, and you're gonna roll with it because you remember the last structure. So the two together, hopefully. And most times, I feel like people do, especially when you're listening, and it works out for you.
Thank you. I feel like it's good to end it on a more positive note too. Same with All This Love, like the way that song is like well, I want a girlfriend, etc., etc. Woe is me, you know, and then having it change in the end to be like, you know, okay, like so, you know, the realization of, oh, I need to figure this out, like outside of other people, and then going further to be like, someone is going to appreciate these things that I do, and like it's not going to be a waste, and like then I'll see, you know. So that's something that is consistent throughout our lyrics.
Yeah, your songs, they almost feel like a journey to me. Like, okay, I feel bad. We all feel vulnerable. Like, I get that. I get to get. Let me see if I say the right word. Like my inner
Like a
self.
raw emotion.
Yeah, like my raw emotion is there. Then at the end, like I don't feel depressed when I listen to your music. It's like, you know what? Yeah, I did feel that way, but now I'm not that punk anymore.
Oh, that's so good.
Thank you. Yeah.
But I know that you guys spoke about Will in your record label, and me and Jason always talk about how at the end of the day, whether it's you two, whether it's your label, whoever's around you, that you have to surround yourself with positive energy and good people. So how important would you say having a strong support system has helped you?
Oh my God. It's been like almost everything. I mean,
Yeah.
at the base of everything and at the top, everything is surrounded by my connection with Alexia, our relationship. Everything is based around that. So as long as we're strong, like everything will be fine.
Yeah.
But having people that are around to support us and like actually authentically believe in our vision of the band and what we're doing and our music, and you know, our managers are very much that, you know, we are very, very, very close with our managers.
Yeah.
We spend the night at their houses whenever we go down to LA and like hang out with them. We text,
We call them,
all
like,
the
talk
time.
on the phone.
I call both of them for advice all the time about stuff completely unrelated to band stuff, and so does Alexia. And you know, so they're like two rocks for us. And then our label being so supportive for such a long time. They pursued us for years.
Yeah.
So I was like, people who aren't actually into the music wouldn't do this.
And they don't try to change, like our managers, like, and the record label, like, don't try to change what we're doing, you know, which is a big sign of like that they trust us to know what we're doing creative. Yeah, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. And just having people around, I mean, our families are really important for that too. And, you know, our close friends, just people who have seen the band since the beginning is, you know, important support. But as long as we're good, then the team's okay.
But it is nice to have like people outside of us as well.
Yeah, of course.
Because you can't rely on one person for everything. And
yes,
like, no. No. And see, and this is like, we balance each other out in this way. But yeah, like it's important to have like friends that support you and just have people that you can call on for different reasons, you know. Like I have a lot of different kinds of friends that I turn to for different kinds of advice. Vi is different. Vi has like 4 friends. You do, dude.
That's true.
Me and Arce, like
true.
Your mom.
I love my mom. Oh my God, we talk every day. Liz.
That's so adorable.
That's it. Like,
well, she has lots of different friends.
I do.
But I'm their best friend.
Yes. But yeah, having a support. It's good to have people to like bounce ideas off of, and like I've been becoming more like solitary, but I still have like the people who I really care about close to me. Yeah.
Hey, and that just means a lot. We try telling all of our listeners out there, if you're trying to pursue, whether it's music, whether it's college, whether it's a 9-to-5, whether it's even graduating, whatever you do in life, you need to have a support system. It's not adorable to say I did it by myself. Like that's not the route people should take. And it just feels so comforting to have that group around you, that reassurance and just the good energy.
No, and like it's exhausting to try and do everything yourself too. Like it's, I mean, our managers, like, I mean, Vi used to do pretty much everything for the band, and like our managers do a lot now, you know, and it's so nice.
It's very nice
to not have to focus on that. And, you know, we're now like free to think about the creative aspect of things, which is like what we should be focused on as like the artists, you know, not necessarily should, but I personally don't like doing business as much. And it's like, I just want to sit around, be a little artist and do that. So, and it's like, it's just really nice to have people who will back you up and tell you when you're doing something wrong, tell you when you can do better, like
Guidance.
yeah, like give you advice, give you reassurance. Like that's so important. You can't just be fulfilling that yourself all the time. It's like tiring.
Yeah, definitely got to pour into cups that pour back into you. And like backing onto what you said about advice, what's one piece of advice that you've either received or given out that really kind of like stuck with you?
I have one that is like from Vi's dad that has really stuck with me and like really influenced like my performing.
Sonny
Mayuba, shouts out.
That's a good one. You saw one.
Yeah. Like Sonny told me, because he's a musician and like, you know, like studies are, you know, we'll watch when we play live, he'll watch and give us notes afterwards.
I had to tell my dad when we first started. I had to tell my dad when we first started, I was like, you have to give me like 30 minutes before you start coming up and like criticizing.
Yeah.
He's not super critical. He's just like so excited and like so in his zone that he wants to like tell us.
Yeah. And he wants us to improve, you know, which is sweet. But he told me that, you know, the stage is like a movie and that people, and this kind of came in tandem with my own realization that, you know, a show is entertainment and like a performance is like a performance, that it shouldn't be boring. Because I watch musicians sometimes and I'm like, this is so boring. Like I could just listen to your record instead. Like I want to be, you know, I go to shows to be entertained. People go to shows to watch something interesting, to like listen to something interesting. And so Sonny told me that the stage is a movie and, you know, to use up the space. And so I've worked on that a lot for years and years now. And so I think that's something that's really stuck with me, honestly. Yeah, has influenced my performing a lot.
I have a lot of liners that I've been trying to cycle through in my mind. I feel like there's one that I've been using so much that I'm just like is escaping me right now.
No pain, no gain. No.
I've never said that. No, that threw off my whole shit. Okay,
Wham.
I was about to like just crack open the wisdom can and then
You still can.
No pain, no gain. What I like to say, one that I like to say that I heard when I was 18 that just really hit me hard was wherever you go, there you are, which is actually a line in a song called Escape that we have. And it basically just means that wherever you go, your problems follow you, because it's a very young person thing and, you know, a human nature thing to want to move locations or try to incorporate new things or people or items into your life to try to escape like your core problems. But like wherever you go, like that, there you are, like that person that you are. So you can't escape yourself. You know, I heard this from a person that has a lot of self-image issues, and that's something, you know, I was struggling with at the time as, you know, a young teenager, young adult. And like if you don't like yourself, no matter what you do, wherever you go, like the people that who you're with is such a big one. Like it doesn't matter as long as you're not doing that work on yourself. But if you do, if you like yourself, then wherever you go, there you are is a cool thing, because you'll just be stoked anywhere.
Yeah.
It really stuck with me and it changed the way that I view life, because I thought that I could do all these kind of minute, unimportant things and surround myself with people. And like, it's why people surround themselves with like wealth and material goods, and which isn't an innately bad thing. It's just the reason why people do that is to fill a void, but the void will always be there.
It's like the void will always be
always
there. And that's the thing too, is like the void is always going to be there. And it's like getting comfortable with the void.
Yeah. Or if it's a curable void, then like, you know, do work on yourself. Feel fulfilled in your emotions instead of trying to fulfill them with outside things and people and places.
It's like you have to learn how to be effective with the things in life that try to hold you back. So it's like if that's self-image issues, if that's, you know, like bad choices that you make, or, you know, any of that, you got to be authentically yourself. big black hole in you or a small black hole in you. Everybody has little dark abyss that tries to open up and take too much. So it's good to manage yourself.
Yeah. Especially with like just wherever you go, there you are. Like, your shadow follows you around, and like acknowledging that shadow is very important. Like you can't escape yourself, so you need to confront yourself and get comfortable with whoever that is, even if some parts are shitty, which like some parts are shitty. Like everyone has these qualities that are not like what they wish they were. But that's okay.
Yeah touring is a big thing with that too. Like we have been touring seriously since we were like 16 or 17, and like more doing bigger tours since we were super young adult, like 18, 19. And I would leave all my problems at home in my apartment, and then we would go out for a month, and it'd be like, ooh, great. And then I'd come home, and my apartment would be the exact same as I left it, with all the shit that I didn't want, all the dishes that I didn't do. I was so bad. I would leave dishes in my sink for month-long tours.
So like I can't.
That's the kind of person that I was. I do them now.
Yeah.
But right?
Yeah.
I confronted my abyss,
Yeah.
which happened to be dishes.
Yeah. Wherever you go, there you are. Mm-hmm.
Crazy. I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, oh God.
Yeah. Funny because it's like, true.
So true.
But also, very true.
Yeah. Like I can't just run away. Like that sucks.
Yeah.
I want to.
It sucks.
It does. It does suck. It's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I want to just run away sometimes, but like that's not. I mean, sometimes it is what you should do, but like if you're trying to like run away from yourself, like
it's exactly what I was gonna say in the exact same voice.
Yeah,
it is
a waste of a run.
Yeah. That's funny and true.
So, dang, that got me feeling like deep now and thinking deep.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, like
it
galaxy brain.
It's a gut punch. Those.
But at the end of the day, if you can change it, there's nothing to stress about. And if you can't change it, there's nothing to stress about. So either way, as long as you're you and doing that unapologetically, then that's all that matters.
Sure.
That's Bible.
And speaking of that, what are you gonna do in 2022? What do you have planned?
We're announcing a tour tomorrow,
Yeah.
or tonight at 4 a.m. specifically.
Yeah.
Which,
Touring.
I mean, this isn't going to come out like before 4 a.m. today, right?
Nah.
We are going on tour with Alkaline Trio and Taking Back Sunday in the United Kingdom this March.
Oh, you can. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So insane.
I know. I'm
like
so
it,
excited. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Touring, working on new music.
New music, yeah, new like videos and stuff like that. And just trying to live life.
So true.
Yeah, just doing stuff.
Doing
That
stuff.
feels good.
Yeah.
Where can our listeners find you and be up to date with all of your new content coming out?
We have an Instagram. It's at Destroy Boys Band. We have a Tumblr that I like to answer the questions on sometimes.
Also Destroy Boys Band.
Yeah, Destroy Boys Band.
That's pretty much our username everywhere.
Yeah.
Facebook,
Facebook. We barely post. Instagram is definitely like the most active one.
yeah.
TikTok.
We're Destroy Boys Band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Started posting on TikTok. That's fun.
It's very silly.
That is silly.
Yeah, but we're always up to date on that.
Spotify, Apple Music, that's where the music is. YouTube, where other stuff is.
Yeah.
You
Google it and it'll appear.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good flex. Google me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to flex. I just meant,
No, it's a good flex.
It's true. I mean, that's the perk of like having a band that doesn't have anything else connect. Like the reason why we chose Destroy Boys is because you used to Google Destroy Boys and there wasn't anything. There was nothing.
There was nothing.
There was nothing. And then there was Destroy Boys.
And there was you.
Yeah. And then there was, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, thank you all so much for coming out on the episode. Great energy.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us. This has been super
You're
fun.
lovely.
Yeah, you guys are great.
Hey,
Oh, thank you.
that means a lot. Thank you. Before you go, do you think you could please give us a tagline?
Yeah.
Just saying like, hey, this is Destroy Boys, and you're tuning into the Love of It podcast.
Sure.
Cool.
Okay.
Uh,
You're gonna say the last part.
you're tuning into the Love of It podcast.
Yeah, but we're
Okay.
gonna say it together.
Okay. Hey,
Okay.
it's Story Boys.
Yeah.
And this is the Love of It podcast.
And you're listening.
Okay.
You're listening too?
It's
That's
whichever adaptation you want to put on is your spin on.
Count us off.
I am. Ready?
Yeah.
This isn't our first rodeo, obviously. Do you see how stressed we just got trying to talk to Jason? Okay. We
It's
literally
usually like the
dude,
talking is like
our backs like straight. We're like, okay.
I'm like,
We're gonna count.
I know we lean back like
Okay.
okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Hey,
Hey, we're
this is
Destroy
Destroy
Boys.
Boys.
No, see, this is why this doesn't work.
Okay.
Where we are.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 1, 2, 3. Hi,
Hey.
we're Destroy Boys. No.
That's how I come in.
All right.
Oh my
1,
God.
2, 3.
Hey.
Hi.
I said oh
Hey,
my
okay,
God.
ready. Hey.
I swear to God.
It's never been this bad. This is
I
intense.
know.
It's because we're in the pressure side. Okay, ready?
Oh. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, we're Destroy Boys, and you're listening to the Love of It podcast.
Oh, that was
Let's
dope.
go.
Yeah.
Bro,
Dude, yeah,
I
bro.
like that.
My heart's beating so fast. I'm literally. Whew.
Hey, well, thank you for being a part of the show. We loved your energy and we love the genuinity. I'll make sure to send everything to. I think I'm talking to Nicole.
Mhm.
So I'll send everything to like all the videos, the pictures, and like the mini clips that we're gonna use for promotion. I'll send it their way, and then I'll send it to your DMs as well.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
Anytime. But
Guys,
thank
so nice to meet you both.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thanks
and
for
definitely keep us up to date with all of your projects coming out in your shows. We love to show love. Come on, support.
Cool.
Sweet.
We'll like connect on Instagram and all that. Yeah.
bet that. And if you have anything, feel free to just send it over and we'll put it on our stories.
Cool. Thank you. Bye,
Anytime.
guys.
Bye.
Okay.